Hello everyone and welcome to this guide for beginners by a beginner. And one of the main features of this game, and actually that's the reason why I bought the game to begin with, it is the combat. And it was really frustrating at first, and this is why I'm telling you what I'm doing to kind of get better at the game. So I'm not gonna show you advanced techniques and all because I myself I'm still learning the game. But what I'm doing is arena and then just get a new career. Okay, and then whatever, it's just for demonstration purposes here. Just gonna put a name, just call it test, and then testo. Any name is just for. Do we get to dress him? Okay, just give him some dress because he's going to be actually the one we're going to practice with, and give him one of those weapons preferably, and close combat, whichever. He's just going to be used as a training aid. So when you start, this is where you're going to be. So once again, if the cursor is here, you press and hold the right mouse button and it will work, etc. So this is already covered in the manual. So what I want you to do is to come to this room. So I went from there up to this room. Okay, so once again, there are already guides telling you how to move, etc. I'm just gonna cover what I'm here for is the most important thing, and that's why I'm saying as a beginner, that's the most important thing for me at that stage is camera management. Because when you press tab, default key, and once again you can assign your and for example here, if I'm positioning this cursor over there, whatever key you want to assign to align your view with the cursor. But what we are here for is not to use that option as much as possible. So you leave the camera where it is, and once you can move your character in relation to anything, here we're going to use this dummy as an example. This is where the combat really opens up. So you have a weapon, you press tab, and now the cursor, the red cursor, if it's up there, you probably already noticed that it's a W to go towards it, S to go away from it, and then without moving the cursor with the mouse, D will move it to the right, but the cursor too is moving, and A will move it to the left, your character. So here, first exercise is you have to position the cursor over your target, and then forward, backward, and while moving right, you keep the cursor over the target. You do this exercise for as long as you want. So back, forward, left, right, back, forward, left, etc. So the key here is, like I said, not to move the camera. And slowly, as you start to get more comfortable, you start getting where things are going to be really difficult, especially in combat. So that's why I'm not suggesting you to go right into practice mode because you will have to fight a guy first. So that's why you come here first in the arena. We're not going to be doing actual fights in the arena, it's just to get that dummy to train. But here, look at where the cursor is. You might think it's down. In other games, maybe you will press S, but here, if you press S, you're moving backward because the cursor is here. S is still backward or away from the cursor. That's why the guy is moving away or backward, and this is forward. And this is where you might want to move towards, in this case, the dummy. It's representing your opponent, of course. But instead of moving towards it, you're moving away from it. So that's what you need to practice. Towards, away. Towards, away. And here also, if I need to move to this side on the screen, it is to the left of the screen, but in relation to my character, it is to his right. So I have to press the D key. Okay, so get comfortable with this. Forward, backward, right, left. Forward, backward, and then you may change left, right, whatever. But you say what you want to do first. Like here, backward, you move backward, forward, forward, right, right, left. Okay, you keep doing this until you kind of do it without thinking. For example, I want to move here. I don't have to think. Is it to my right? Is it to my left? I don't have to think. I instantly know which button to press to move towards, to move away, to move in this direction. So you keep doing this a few times until you kind of move exactly where you want to go, regardless of your positioning. Because if you rely too much on this, like you move here and then this, and then this, from my understanding, while you are in that movement, like here, I press and hold the cursor center or whatever it's called. Okay, this animation, your character is kind of, it's not going, for example, if you were attacking or defending, and at the same time you were doing this, it kind of reduces his power or it kind of freezes the character, and that's why being able to not move the camera and still get where you want is super important, especially in the arena. There are group fights, so then you won't be at a disadvantage. And also, even in the single one-on-one duel, it's going to be super useful, and this is what is really going to open up the combat for you. It did for me, and I'm sure it's gonna do the same thing for you. Now you don't want to spend all the time here. Of course, you go, and actually we're gonna do it right away. You exit. So now we are going in the arena mode, and this time practice. And of course, you alternate, like I said, between training with the dummy and then fighting the novice fighters until you can fight them all, and then you will have the expert, etc. So here you come, and once again, whatever name you want to give to your character, because each time you exit the game, you have to create a new character. So whatever weapon you loot, you won't keep it. And actually, at some point, I would suggest not picking up weapon, and this way you're sure it's your skill and not your armor and your weapon that's making the difference. So you just equip it with the basics. And now, of course, later you can come and practice with all the different weapons. But to start with, I would suggest the two-handed sword, because it has maybe a more area with which you can attack and do damage. Because, for example, this weapon here, you have to hit with this part here. This is what's going to deal damage with the great axe. The handle, if you hit, I mean, barely any damage. So I would suggest taking this as your weapon. And as you will see, we will jump right into our first fight. And what you want to do is not move the camera at all. And whatever the opponent is doing, you react accordingly. Like here. Of course, as much as possible, you want to put yourself into a favorable position, but without moving the camera. Okay, that's one way. Now, at some point in the arena carrier mode, you will find arenas or maybe in the story mode, you will find areas where your view might be a little bit obstructed because of the way the arena is designed. So what you can do is when you enter the area, you position your camera in a favorable with a favorable view, and you don't touch it again. Like here, for example, position it and don't touch it again. And then whatever the opponent is doing, you just don't move the camera and try to defeat them. Okay, and once again, here it's not how to fight, what tactics to use. There are already videos covering this. Here it's just how I'm learning to be better, at least at moving around. And as you can see, it's not difficult actually because of the low-level characters, but it's a good way to kind of position yourself, move around. And one way I find, like here guys, with shield is to crouch while attacking. But once again, the key here is to fight without moving the camera. Okay, so you get the idea. So this is what I'm doing in order to become more proficient in combat. And like I said, the main difficulty for me at least was to position my character properly, and the camera view, and moving towards, moving away from the opponent. So by doing this exercise in the arena training room with the dummy, and then of course you will have to fight real opponents, because this is where you're really going to put this into practice, because you might panic. Instead of moving towards, you're moving away. Instead of moving away, you're moving towards. And this is where you're really going to put this into practice. And don't worry, even if you die here, you just restart. So it's really helping me, and I'm sure it will help you too. Because many people are saying it's in early release for 10 years and this and that. If I listened to all this, I wouldn't have bought the game, and I'm glad I did it. But like I said, I was a little bit frustrated because of the combat system and the camera, but luckily I'm understanding little by little how things goes, and I hope this video will help you too. So I thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.